Now, the two-day talks between India and Pakistan's Indus Water Treaty are currently underway. A 5-member Pakistani delegation is in India. It arrived on Sunday for the 118th edition of the talks. Now, the high-stakes meeting is likely to focus on key projects concerning both the countries. The Pakistani delegation, which has been carefully chosen with the newly appointed Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, is being led by the Pakistani Commissioner for Indus Water, Syed Meher Ali Shah. It also includes the Chief Engineer of Punjab Irrigation Department, the Director General of the Met Office, the General Manager of Pakistan's National Engineering Service, and the Director General of Foreign Affairs Ministry. The Indian side will be headed by India's Indus Water Commissioner, A.K. Pal. Earlier, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibil, spoke to Pakistan's Indus Water Commissioner, Syed Meher Ali Shah, who expressed his views on the ongoing talks. Listen.
So this is a part of the treaty obligation that we have to meet to fulfill our obligation so under the Indus Waters Treaty, and it is a continuing process. So we believe that this process should not only continue, but it should go in a meaningful manner so that we can resolve at a bilateral level to the extent possible. So it depends on the Indian side as well, that how do they respond.
Now, the Pakistani delegation's visit comes after the Indian delegation visited Islamabad for the previous Indus Treaty talks in the month of March this year. Now, issues like advanced flood information, the construction of hydropower projects by India on the west-flowing rivers are likely to be the key point of discussion. Now, the annual report of Indus Water Commissioners will also be finalized during these talks. The Indus Waters Treaty was formalized way back in 1960 after 9 years of negotiations between India and Pakistan with the help of the World Bank. Now, under this treaty, the waters of the three eastern rivers, the Satluj, Beas and Ravi, are allocated for India for unrestricted use, while the three western rivers of Indus, Jhelum and Chenab go to Pakistan. On top of that, New Delhi also has the right to generate hydroelectricity in the three western rivers that are meant for Pakistan through the river projects. Pakistan, however, can raise objections to the projects if it wishes to, and water disputes between India and Pakistan have been a constant point of tension between both the governments, from territorial conflicts to fears of future water shortages due to the construction of dams have figured prominently in the talks. Both countries have had their points of differences, but despite all the problems that India and Pakistan have suffered, despite the years of war and despite the years of peace, the fact is the Indus Water Treaty since the year 1960 has been one of the most successful international deals. It has survived frequent political flare-ups and has also provided a framework for irrigation, hydropower development for the last many decades, 6+ decades since since it was brought into existence. And also, WION Siddhant Sibil has been tracking the story closely for us and has sent us this report. Listen in.
The Indus water talks between India and Pakistan have started today here in Delhi. This is the meeting under which both sides will discuss about water sharing. The Indus Water Pact was signed in the year 1960, under which India has a right to the three eastern rivers, while Pakistan has a right to the three western rivers. And of course, India can still use water from the three western rivers. Now, we know that earlier this year, an Indian delegation was in Islamabad for talks. Now, Pakistan delegation is here in Delhi. This is the second Pakistani delegation to be in India in matter of few weeks. Earlier, we saw a Pakistani delegation here in India for the SCO RATS, or Shanghai Cooperation Organization Regional Anti-Terror Structure meeting. Now, we know that India-Pakistan relationship, the talks between the two governments is of course frozen. There is no movement that is happening, but multilateral and bilateral meetings such as the SCO and Indus water talks do provide the opportunity for the two countries to meet together and have conversations. With video journalist Chandrasekhar Siddhant Sibil at the Indus Water Talks here in Delhi for WION.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.